family in the U.S. Supreme Court when grandparents want to visit grandchildren, but the parents say no. Who decides? And the 6-year-old Cuban boy, now his grandmother speaking out about freedom and his mother's fatal decision to take him to the U.S. In depth, our special report, Fighting the Flu, why this epidemic can't be prevented. 2 towns try something new, giving everyone flu medicine. Plus, women to watch in the new century. Tonight, a rocket scientist leading us to new frontiers with a sense of humor.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. It is a sign of our times and our changing family structures that grandparents now have gone all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court to get a ruling on what has always been an indisputable part of their lives, their visits with grandkids. Now, they're increasingly a contentious part of a custody battle of some kind. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
Like most of the nation's 75 million grandparents, Gary and Jennifer Troxell visited their 2 granddaughters regularly. Then when their son died, the girl's mother remarried and cut back on the contacts. So the grandparents went to court, persuading a judge to order more frequent visits.
I want to be a part of their lives and know that they have extended family and that their extended family loves them.
But the mother appealed, insisting that judges have no power to order visiting rights if the parents object, unless there's some reason to think the children must be protected from imminent harm. But no matter how attached the grandparents and children may be, the mother's lawyer told the Supreme Court today that parents have the legal right to decide how their children are raised and who gets to see them.
Parents are in a position to make those decisions, and they have both the right and the obligation to do so, and the state should not interfere, absent a really significant showing that the parents aren't doing a good job.
When the grandparents made their case today, they did not find a sympathetic audience. The justices, 6 of whom are grandparents themselves, nonetheless seemed concerned the choice was not left to the parents. Justice O'Connor called it breathtaking that anyone could march in and ask for visitation rights. And Justice Scalia said lots of children might be better off if someone else raised them, but the parents are in control. The nation's grandparents' rights groups insist their role in the family is special, that they must be able to get visiting rights even if the parents refuse.
There is an extremely positive relationship between grandparents and grandchildren, that they're very closely bonded across generations. They communicate frequently and in a very positive way.
And most states now have laws allowing courts to grant visiting rights over the parents' objections. But based on their comments today, the justices seem prepared to rule that when it comes to difficult questions about who gets to see the children, parents should make that call, not judges. Pete Williams, NBC News at the Supreme Court.
And tonight there are more twists and turns in the Elian Gonzalez story, including the first comments from his maternal grandmother. Tonight, Attorney General Janet Reno is making it clear it is federal immigration case and laws that will decide all of this. The Immigration Service says he should be returned. More now from NBC's Kerry Sanders.
Today's letter from the Attorney General Janet Reno could not be any clearer. Elian Gonzalez should go home to his father in Cuba, and the temporary legal custody awarded his uncle by a Miami judge will not be recognized by the Justice Department because the Attorney General says, quote, that question remains one of federal, not state law. Lawyers fighting to keep the boy in the United States say that decision should be made in court.
What a message to send to the American people by the Attorney General. Should someone out there now think that if he or she doesn't like a court order, he or she should ignore it instead of challenging it? That's not right.
Who legally speaks for the 6-year-old? Federal authorities say only the boy's father in Cuba can do that. And in the words of the Attorney General, quote, his father has stated in no uncertain terms that he does not wish for Elian to make an asylum claim. What happens now? Lawyers in Miami say they will go to federal court next week, arguing the Immigration and Naturalization Service has no choice but to recognize Elian's uncle as his guardian. And there is a new voice in the debate today. Elian's grandmother, his mother's mother, on the question, was her daughter who drowned taking Elian to freedom? In Cuba today, Raquel Rodriguez says, in fact, her grandson has been kidnapped.
What do they know about her? They never met her. They never met her. They never knew her. I know how she was. Who are they to say what her will is?
She says her daughter didn't even want to make the treacherous trip to the U.S. with the young child, that she was tricked into it by her boyfriend.
The most affected is me. It is my only daughter and my only grandson.
Inside the family home in Cuba, a Christmas tree still stands. Elian's grandmother first expecting to celebrate this Friday, now vowing to keep that tree up until Elian leaves Florida and goes back home to Cuba. Kerry Sanders, NBC News, Miami.
And as the presidential campaign calendar begins to pick up in this country, with the Iowa caucuses now less than 2 weeks away, the Republican Party is turning its attention to voters it's never been able to count on in national elections, the rapidly expanding Latino population. More on that development tonight from NBC's David Bloom, who's in Los Angeles.
It is Texas Governor George W. Bush, a proven vote-getter among Hispanics, who's now driving the Republican push for Latino voters. Tomorrow, Republicans plan to unveil a massive new advertising campaign, intent on spending as much as $10 million on television spots in both English
Great to be an American.
and Spanish,
La oportunidad y las responsabilidades.
trying to convince Hispanic voters like Los Angeles attorney Fernando Villa and his girlfriend, Giselle Loren, to vote Republican.
More and more, I'm looking less and less at the party.
California is the biggest target. Republicans courting middle-class Hispanics like Dennis Mike Gomez, a Clinton supporter who might vote for Bush.
I don't think it's a contradiction. I think you can be very Latino and you can be very conservative.
Just 4 years ago, Hispanics voted 72% for Bill Clinton. But in an NBC News poll, Bush leads Gore among Hispanics by a stunning 11 points. Still, it's a far different story in California, where Hispanics favor Gore by an almost 2-to-1 margin. Mexican-Americans here especially remember former Republican Governor Pete Wilson's divisive 1994 campaign with its anti-immigrant ads.
Enough is enough.
That bad taste in the mouth, if you will, on the part of Latino voters is not something that they're going to get over real quickly.
But Republicans don't need to win the Hispanic vote in California. In a tight race, just 40% support could tip the election to Bush.
They're less angry with Republicans now than they were a few years ago.
And Fernando Villa says his family and friends could vote Republican.
It's a very conservative, socially conservative, religiously conservative community by and large.
The Republicans' new ad campaign is based on this reality. To win the presidency, they almost certainly have to win California. And to win here, Republicans have to lure Hispanics back to the GOP. David Bloom, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Up next, our special report, Fighting the Flu. NBC News in depth tonight, the bug that hits every winter and still cannot be tamed.
The long and short of it is we don't yet have the ability to prevent these epidemics.
Fighting the Flu, what you need to know to protect your family. That's tonight's special in depth.
Exhale.
I don't want to run a marathon. I don't want to go skydiving. I don't want to feel like a kid again. Though, not feeling ancient would be nice. All I really want is to be able to climb the stairs and give Michael a bath.
Vioxx is here, a prescription medicine for the most common type of arthritis pain, osteoarthritis. One little pill, taken just once a day, can provide 24-hour relief. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. People with allergic reactions such as asthma to aspirin or other arthritis medicines should not take Vioxx. Tell your doctor if you have liver or kidney problems. For more information, ask your doctor or pharmacist about once daily Vioxx for the relief of osteoarthritis pain. And you may be able to plan your day around your life instead of your pain. Vioxx, for everyday victories.
Dinner! Beyond the green bean casserole, there are other spiciest uses for French's French fried onions. A mere sprinkling makes a simple salad superb.
That cooking show again.
Mom, you've got French's.
You didn't save me any?
It wasn't enough.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal Squares. You haven't wanted a cereal this badly since you were a kid.
Getting those urban cowboys on horses was trying enough. And you throw in some serious chili, we're talking major heartburn. Well, we were way out there, and this cowboy, he pulls this Zantac 75 out of his saddlebag. I said, what are you, a Zantac salesman? He said, no, I'm a doctor.
The medicine in Zantac 75 is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. It relieves even your toughest heartburn, controlling acid for up to 12 hours.
Hats off to you, Doc.
Zantac 75 for tough heartburn. Doctors know.
New tonight at 6. Tillamook residents say they're tired of being washed out by Mother Nature. We'll show you what they're doing to save their homes from flooding. Tonight at 6 on Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first. Matt Zaffino, only on Northwest News Channel
8. NBC News in Depth tonight, our special report, Fighting the Flu. It's an annual rite of winter. Millions of people all over the world getting knocked down by the flu bug. The full name for the flu, influenza, comes from the Italian Renaissance, when the alignment of the planets was believed to influence outbreaks of illness. Well, now, centuries later, even though the science of influenza is much more sophisticated, that bug still plagues us. Tonight, NBC's chief science correspondent, Robert Bazell, our special report, In Depth.
You are kind of wavy, huh?
It is quite simply the worst infectious disease that regularly strikes this country.
The long and short of it is we don't yet have the ability to prevent these epidemics.
Why does the flu virus, a disease as old as humanity, keep coming back? Because as it travels around the world, it infects not just people, but wild birds and farm animals, ducks, chickens, and pigs. As it moves from species to species, the virus has an amazing capacity to mutate, to change these proteins that stick out of its surface.
This allows new virus variants to develop, and these then can stay ahead of essentially the vaccines that are developed.
And with influenza, there is a constant threat of an outbreak far worse than anything we've seen in recent years. What's called a pandemic, a deadly infection that spreads around the world. That happened in 1918, when a new strain of flu emerged. It was so different that people had no resistance. Between 20 and 40 million died of flu that year, 500,000 in the U.S. alone, far more than died in the First World War.
I don't think it's a question of whether there will be another influenza pandemic. It's really more likely a question of when we'll see it.
Indeed, smaller pandemics struck in 1957, killing 74,000, and 1968, 34,000 in the U.S. Where do pandemics begin? Scientists believe in southern China, where farming practices put lots of people, birds, and pigs very close together, a fertile ground for mutant viruses to arise.
Many times the ducks and the pigs and even the people are sharing the same water sources.
The only defense? Constant surveillance for totally new strains, like the one found in Hong Kong 2 years ago that jumped from chickens to people. It disappeared only when officials killed all the city's chickens. And to stop not just a totally new strain, but the annual one, officials design a vaccine a year in advance. This year's vaccine works well.
Several research groups are working to develop a vaccine that would protect people, not just for 1 year, but for several years. That would greatly reduce the public health danger from influenza.
But until there is a better vaccine, we can only learn to cope with the yearly outbreaks that hospitalize 200,000 and kill 20,000 in the U.S., while remaining on alert to the threat of a deadly new pandemic strain. Robert Bazell, NBC News, New York.
The flu is much too familiar in the lives of all of us, arriving on cue every winter. It also comes shrouded in mystery and misinformation. Tonight, one of the leading experts on flu, Dr. Edwin Kilborn of New York Medical College, separates fact from fiction in his own words.
What are the biggest misconceptions about flu? Well, I think the biggest misconception is that it's like the common cold. It's not the common cold. It puts people in bed, flat on their backs, with aches and pains and a high fever, and it's not the cold. Why can't we build immunity to flu? We can, and we do. But that's this year's flu. We're not building immunity to next year's flu because that will be different. The virus changes, it therefore acts like a new virus appearing for the first time in a population. Why does the flu strike in winter? It strikes in the wintertime because even though it's not a very cold winter, people are still indoors more. So the key is crowding indoors to optimize the spread of the virus. How is it transmitted? It's transmitted mostly through the air, where it can be transmitted for long distances. I can infect somebody down the hall 50 feet away if I sneeze or cough. It has to be carried through the air, which makes it so contagious.
That's Dr. Edwin Kilborn of New York Medical College tonight on In His Own Words on the subject of flu. More of our special reporting on the flu when we come back. What if they vaccinated every kid in an entire town? Well, they tried that in Texas, but how's it working? Later, women to watch. Yes, she really is a rocket scientist, and she is blasting through barriers for women.
We actually evolved into this process.
Why is it models always look 15? I don't like that. Her? Please. She has another 20 years before she even has to think about wrinkles.
Right, and I'll look 30 years younger overnight.
At the Pond's Institute, we don't give you hype, we give you results. Our age-defying lotion with these 4 ingredients is proven to visibly reduce fine lines by up to 77%. Age-defying lotion from the Pond's Institute. No hype, just younger-looking skin.
If foods like onions and peppers give you gas, then do what I do. Take Beano before eating. It has a natural food enzyme that helps prevent gas caused by many vegetables, including beans. And for me, that's great news. Prevent gas with Beano.
When it comes to traditional luxury, it's anything but more of the same. Introducing the all-new 2000 Bonneville. Screaming with attitude you'd never expect in a luxury sports sedan. More luxury. More attitude. The all-new 2000 Bonneville by Pontiac.
Good evening, sir. Your finest table? Reservation. Perhaps you'll find it under Washington. George Washington? Sir, that's only $1. Only $1. Don't you know that with 10, 10, 220, all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents, and just 7 cents a minute after that. Plus, there's no monthly fee. Great rates and no monthly fee? All day, every day. Walk this way.
Dial 10-10-220. What should you do if you're having a heart attack? First, call an ambulance, then take Bayer aspirin. Now Bayer may help stop you from dying when taken during a heart attack. Talk to your doctor now. Bayer, powerful pain relief, and so much more.
Vegetables know what they like. Introducing Taste of Life dressings, new from Kraft. They're enriched with vitamin E and made with stuff your salad will love. New Taste of Life dressings from Kraft.
Tomorrow, our series on eating smart also covers drinking smart. So which is best, coffee or tea? Pour yourself a nice hot cup of something and join us for the answer tomorrow on Today.
It's like Today, only later. Later today, weekdays on NBC.
Now, more of our special coverage on fighting the flu and a kind of bold experiment. What if you vaccinated every child in one town against the flu virus? They're actually trying that in Texas. How they do it is half the battle. NBC's Jim Cummins is in Temple, Texas tonight.
This is the biggest obstacle to a national vaccination campaign that doctors believe could wipe out the flu. Needles. Terrifying to many children and adults. That's why researchers here in Texas are trying something new, an experiment with the children in 2 towns, Temple and Belton, a 3-year study. All children vaccinated with a nasal spray, no needles. Dr. Paul Gleason heads the study.
It adheres to the membranes of the upper respiratory tract, and the immunity occurs up here, but the results of that, the antibodies, spread throughout the body.
And 3-year-old Tristan Coffey says it's painless.
Tickle me.
Doctors say the flu-miss vaccine has the same side effects as flu shots in some people.
some congestion, runny nose, sometimes sore throat with that, occasionally some irritability, which is quite common in children when they don't feel good.
This is only the second year of the study, too early for any hard data. But researchers say only one person who received the spray vaccine this year came down with the flu. And the numbers from this hospital in Temple, Texas last year are also encouraging. Only 10% of those who used the spray vaccine came down with the flu. That compares with 20% flu rate among those who got shots and 30% among those who did nothing.
I'm very excited because I think it gives us an important new tool to combat influenza.
A tool that doctors say works the same way as standard shots, but seems to be more effective against ear infections. And of course, not as scary.
But it is less traumatizing, and the fact that they would know every year that they are going to receive, the vaccine, it may be more calming to them.
More calming for the kids and parents, according to Tristan's mother.
As soon as parents get the opportunity to have this for their children, they're going to jump on it.
You ready?
Researchers expect the spray vaccine could be available nationwide for the flu season next year. Jim Cummins, NBC News, Temple, Texas.
You should stay tuned for more of our special coverage, Fighting the Flu, on Dateline tonight at 8, 7 Central Time, and there will be a special hour-long report tonight at 10 on MSNBC on cable. On Wall Street today, the blue chips were up, technology stocks were lower, with the internet search engine company Yahoo leading the downward trend despite good earnings. Dow Jones Industrial finished up 40 points. NASDAQ was down more than 71 points today, however. I'll be right back. Women to watch.
Want to color your gray hair and get a natural look? It's easy with Just for Men.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men. No one can tell with Just for Men.
Simply shampoo in Just for Men, and in 5 minutes, rinse. Just for Men blends away gray. The gray is gone, matched up to the rest of your hair.
You look so natural, no one can tell with Just for Men.
This is the face of erectile dysfunction. So is this. And this. Fact is, 1 in 3 men have some form of ED, a medical condition also called impotence that affects men of every age, race, and background. What else do all these men have in common? They all faced up to their problem and got help. If you're experiencing ED, there's no need to hide your face. Just talk to your doctor. It's the best way to get educated about ED and how to treat it.
Itchy allergic rash? The dermatologist I work for recommends Cordate. It stops the itch and helps heal the rash to restore your skin. There's no brand doctors recommend more. In fact, doctors recommend Cordate more than 4 to 1 over Cortisone 10. Cordate, restore your skin.
It's kind of like surf food as opposed to Mexican food. We're actually in the back of our main corporate office.
Dad was our original investor into the company.
He goes, this is my retirement money you guys are playing with, so make it count.
Now that we're growing, what we ran into is a lot of red tape.
That's why I leave all the banking to my little brother Mingo. See, he's got the short hair.
That's where Merrill Lynch has stepped up. Dom and Merrill have been real important. They saw past the shorts and T-shirts.
Where else in the world can a Chinese guy sell Mexican food? If this isn't the American dream, I don't know what is.
I was miserable. My antacid didn't do the whole job. Then I tried Alka-Seltzer.
Only Alka-Seltzer relieves heartburn and pain and has the effervescent power to speed relief.
It made a believer out of me.
Get better relief. Get Alka-Seltzer.
What if you could treat wrinkles like an expert would? With Rock, the #1 anti-wrinkle cream in France, you can. Developed with dermatologists, Rock's pure and active form of vitamin A works deeper, inside skin surface. In a 12-week study, the appearance of fine lines was reduced by 86%, wrinkles by 42%. Something more superficial beauty treatments could never promise. Rock, we keep our promises.
A devastating flu bug hits the U.S.
These patients are coming in flat on their back.
Fighting the flu reports all day today, followed by a primetime special on MSNBC.
Explore the Earth's last frontier, then the mystery of the poison pigeons, and they'll stop at nothing to survive. Parasites, explored this weekend on CNBC.
Tonight we have more on women to watch in the 21st century. It wasn't so long ago that the idea of a woman as a rocket scientist was a very long shot, but how about an African-American woman as a rocket scientist? Tonight, in cooperation with iVillage.com, the women's online website, we meet a woman who has met all those challenges and then some. Here's NBC's Andrea Mitchell.
The thrusters, right. It is rocket science, and she is a rocket scientist, part of a team of space engineers pushing even further into the new frontier.
How can we guarantee symmetry with a blanket?
She is searching for clues to the cosmos itself, preparing to launch a satellite that measures temperature variations in space, to find whether the origins of the universe started with the Big Bang, a huge explosion, or not.
We're hoping to look back in time and to understand better how we actually evolved into this process.
At the age of 36, she is a true leader for her generation. College teacher, astronautical and mechanical engineer. The first African-American female PhD at the Goddard Space Center. How did she get here? A long way from this neighborhood in Brooklyn, New York. April Erickson Jackson could have been a star athlete. But as a young girl, she discovers a different dream. 1969, she's in first grade. Pete Conrad lands on the moon. Her teacher lets the class watch on TV.
That was my first time, really being exposed to what astronauts do.
In high school, she excels in science and math. Teachers encourage her to enter a minority recruitment program at MIT.
That's when I really got the bug.
A bug that takes her through scholarships to MIT, then graduate school at Howard University. At every step of her career, always the first African-American woman in her field.
Does it make you feel isolated or special or challenged? Sometimes it is definitely an isolation. As African Americans, we are different people socially, we're different people when we speak, and so there are times when I have to remember to stay in the professional mode, remember to use the technical, appropriate lingo.
And now an even bigger challenge, to venture into space herself. She's applied to become an astronaut.
The chance to explore new frontiers is just awesome.
But as important as her goal of going into space is her role as teacher and mentor, inspiring the next generation to follow their dreams.
People said to me, "Oh, you'd make a good role model," and I was like, "What?"
Now she reaches out to students at school, at work, wherever she can find them.
It allows them to really think, yeah, this is possible. I can come from probably any base and still be able to achieve whatever I want.
April Erickson Jackson, breaking all barriers and leading us into the final frontier. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Goddard Space Center.
Speaking of women to watch, there's this update tonight from the New York Senate race. Hillary Clinton finally taped an appearance on the David Letterman show after taking weeks of ribbing for refusing to come on.
I'm a little nervous.
Okay, so I know you just moved to the area. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, Dave, I grew up in the Midwest, just like you.
Yeah.
My mother's name is Dorothy, just like yours.
Right.
We have so much in common that I had to follow you here.
Boy, were you misguided.
That's Nightly News for Wednesday. I'm Tom Brokaw, and I'll see you back here tomorrow night.